Hello, my fellow real estate brothers and sisters. It's Laressa Ngoeun here, your favorite internet real estate bestie, and I am about to put you on and make you that real estate agent. You're about to watch my masterclass on personal branding for real estate agents, which in essence is simply 5 specific tutorials from my channel that I have carefully strung together in sequential order. The 5 modules will include 1. How to design your own personal logo with ChatGPT and Canva. 2. How to determine and lock in your brand essence and style. 3. How to program your Canva Brand Kit. 4. How to make designated design templates for your real estate listing marketing campaigns. And finally, in module number 5, we will wrap up with my tips and tricks to help you improve your Canva organization and overall workflow. The timestamps of each module will be linked down below in the description box, along with additional resources and free templates to help you supercharge what you will learn and apply in this masterclass. And as always, if you want my one-on-one help and you want to be part of a movement of agents that thrive on community, collaboration, and content creation, then scan this code here on screen or find the link below to learn how we can partner and how we can work together. But without further ado, let me show you how to do. Little disclaimer before we begin here, I am using the paid version of ChatGPT, and if you're in real estate, you better be using the paid version of ChatGPT. It's literally only $20 a month and is going to change your business game. Any which way, when you have the access to the paid version, you'll see here that we have tools, and we can go here and click on create an image. And again, I've included this prompt in the description box down below, so check it out. It's really simple. All it is, it says create me an all white monogram logo of my initials, LN. Make sure the logo has a transparent background because I want to use it in Canva. So we're going to go ahead and hit generate and see what it gives us. Please be fast. Internet, please be fast. Okay, it is generating. And I know what you're probably thinking. Laressa, why didn't you just use Canva AI to generate you a logo? Well, I did, and it didn't give me what I was wanting. It didn't give me the output that I wanted, hence why I reverted to ChatGPT to make me a monogram logo. Let's see, it's generating it like so, and I'll show you my other project file so you can see the differences here. All right, so this is what it has given me. You can see here when I put my mouse over, you can see this checkered grid. This does indeed indicate that it is a transparent background. So if you're happy with this, you can go ahead and download it, or you can give some more iterations to get what you would like. So when I was practicing this yesterday, this was my prompt here, the same one. This is what it gave me, very similar to the one we just did right now. But then here I asked it to use a more sans serif font because I just wanted it to be really plain and really simple. And this is what it gave me, and honestly, I was pretty happy with that. But before we go ahead and download this and use it in Canva, again, you can just hit that button there. I'm going to show you the Canva AI generation. Again, I used the exact same prompt as I did in ChatGPT, as you can see here, but it was really not giving me what I wanted. It didn't give me the transparent background, so no shade to Canva AI, but it wasn't doing it for me, and I did give it some more instructions to do what I wanted it to do. So as I mentioned, I went back to ChatGPT. At the very end here, it did give me something kind of like that, but again, not a transparent background. But I mean, you could most likely use, let's say, the background remover tool to remove this background, but to each your own. Do what you want to do. I just found that ChatGPT was just easier. So with that all said and out of the way, I'm going to go into the homepage of Canva, and you can go ahead and open up any canvas here. I just have this square Instagram post, so I'm just going to go ahead and quickly click on that. As mentioned, we have created an all white logo, so I'm going to actually make this a gray background so we can see when I do a little export from my downloads on my other screen here. Let me just plop it onto here. Oop, wrong one. Hold on. Technical difficulties. I found it. It's this one. Bloop. Right here. So as you see here, I just dragged and dropped it onto the canvas. It's downloading into my uploads. Now what I'm going to do is just extend this. And what you might notice here ever so faintly is that there is this black line. I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is make sure I have selected the image here. We're going to go up to edit. And then, as I mentioned, we're now going to finesse this. We're going to spice it up in Canva. So I'm going to go into duotone here, go into custom, and I'm just going to make sure that both the shadows and the highlights are completely white. So this is the first one. Now, let's say we wanted, in a different design case scenario, we wanted an all black emblem or monogram logo. So again, let's click on the image here, go into edit. We have duotone already selected on here, and I'm just going to drag this black. And this is where you can get creative, like you can make it different colors, if you will, if you have a different brand color, but I tend to keep my designs and my logos rather simple because I don't want to take away from the design when I do the marketing material, if you know what I mean. Any which way, at this point, what I would go ahead and do is download these images as a PNG, like here, PNG with a transparent background, just like that. But I'm going to finesse this just a little bit more, just a little bit more. So as I mentioned, remember EXP, we got to make sure that we have EXP's logo. So I'm going to go in here and add another page, but I'm going to add a different sized canvas. So you saw here that little up arrow. We're going to go into more, and I'm just going to go in and create a custom size. I want something around, let's say, 1,000 pixels by 600. All right, create new page. Now at this point, what I'm going to do is just grab this logo here. You can just Command C it, Command V it onto this page. I'm going to move it just slightly over here. And then what I'm going to do is put L on my keyboard for a line. I'm going to make it vertical, 90 degrees, like that, like so. Ooh, trying to make sure that it remains straight. So what I'm doing is I'm holding the shift key on my keyboard and just pulling this little toggle here to extend it. And we can go in and make this slightly thicker, like 8, the stroke weight. And I'm going to make it white and put it right in this kind of off-centered like this, because I'm going to put EXP's logo on this side here. So I'm going to go into my brand kit, grab EXP logo here, and put it like kind of like that. Now my understanding is that if you have a personal logo at EXP Realty, you want to make sure that they are pretty much the same size. All right, you don't want your personal logo to be bigger than EXP's logo, because then that's not compliant. Right, so that looks pretty dead on center to me. Gonna just like that. Okay, so now we have the white version, and again I'm going to go in and just duplicate this page, and then I'm going to make this black, a black version. So in this case, I'm just going to replace the white logo with the EXP with the black one, and then I'm going to go in here. You can copy this one here again, but I just want to make sure that the placement is exactly the same. So I'm just going to go into duotone and just change this to black. And here we're just going to change the white line to the black line. Now at this point, you can go in and just download all of these pages as a transparent background, a PNG with a transparent background. So in this case, I'm actually going to go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to show you just another little trick to make your logos just a little bit more beautiful, if you will. This is what I like to do. So at this point, we have, let me open up my folder here. Where are you, Canva? So I'm just going to go into my uploads here, and I'm just going to drag and drop all of the logos that we just exported into here. And then I'm just going to go in and add additional pages in between here. So I want 2 square pages, and then I want, actually let's just do 1 for now. We're going to do this one. We're going to grab the white one here, and we're just going to go in, we're going to replace the background here, And then I'm gonna go in and I am gonna go to edit. So I made this logo the background image. Then I'm just gonna hit edit image and I'm gonna go into here, my shadows. Then I'm just gonna give it a drop effect. Actually, I lied. I'm gonna detach it. I'm gonna detach it from the page. I'm sorry. I'm going to extend it. Then we're going to go into edit image. We're going to add that drop shadow. You can play around with the parameters of the shadow. And then at this point, I'm just going to size it up like that. So let me take note, 126. Okay, so we're going to go into this one here and we are just going to do the same thing. Let's extend this first. And then we're going to go in, add that drop shadow. Then I'm just going to extend this design to 126 so they are perfectly the same size here. Now you can see, like, obviously I like adding that shadow. It just makes it a little bit more 3D. It pops off just a little bit. It just takes it just that extra notch, okay? And now with this, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. We are going to go in and just put this here. Let me zoom in. Extend that, and here's a trick. Let's say you actually change the parameters of the shadow here. Let's say it was a different intensity, maybe it was 45, and you made changes. What you can do to ensure that you have the exact same shadow is I would go back to the previous pages here, click on the emblem, go up to the copy style tool, go into the page where you want to paste that effect. So I'm going to click on the here, and you can see that it has applied the same shadow. All right, then I'm going to just extend this a little bit just so we can make sure that the whole design is perfectly in the center. So take note, and we're gonna go something like this, 619. Okay, remember 619. Okay, and then we're gonna do another page here. Let's see here. I want to try something. What if I duplicate this page? And I just pull this here. Will it do the same thing? It worked. Did y'all see that? Was that too fast? Was that too fast? Okay, let me show you another trick. Okay, I'm going to duplicate this page here that we have with the logo here that we already have, the changed size, and the shadow. I'm going to just Command D to duplicate this page, or again, you can hit the 3 dots here to create a duplicate. And because I know this is the same exact size and logo, if I just click and drag and put it on top, it's going to cut to that exact same position and size and add that same shadow. Boom. You're welcome. Give this video a thumbs up for that trick because it worked. All right, so at this point, what you want to do in this case to make these logos usable, I would most likely just go in and download the pages that have the shadow. Alrighty. So in this case, just for the sake of it, I am just going to download, let's see, the last 4 pages. So here's another trick, Canva hack. You can put your cursor here, and I know it's going to be page 4 to 8. And then again, make sure you just click out of here and make sure this is a transparent background, PNG, hit download. Now I'm just going to delete these pages out of my upload section. And now at this point, what we are going to do is program our brand kit with our logos. So you do need to make sure that you have a Canva Pro account in order to have a brand kit, but I highly recommend that you go pro because this will make your life so much more easier. All right, so in this case, what I'm going to do is make sure I go ahead and open up that zip file on my other screen here, and then we're going to go into here, just hit edit up here, and then you can just hit the plus button, or you can just again drag and drop your files or your logos into this brand kit here. And just give it a second to load up. All right. Oh, I have like one too many logos in here. All right. If we needed to delete them, I probably would just delete these two. Delete and delete. Okay. hit save. Now at this point, we're going to go into the homepage of Canva once more, and I'm going to show you how I would go about using this. Actually, we don't even need to do that because I'm just going to create a new page here, and I'm just going to add in this case, I'm going to go social media, and I want where are you? I want the 4x5 Instagram post because this is the new portrait size. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. I'm going to go into my brand kit once more, but I'm going to scroll down because this is where I have my brand templates. So this is kind of like a marketing campaign for a real estate listing. So again, I also sell these templates on Etsy. So if you want to be my bestie, shop my templates on Etsy. Okay, don't be mad at me. This is how I can make free videos on YouTube. So this is my just listed design here. And as you kind of see here, I already have my logos already here, but let's say that wasn't there. All right, so we're gonna go in here, and before I get into all that, if you want to learn how to make a brand templates of your own templates, I will link that video in the cards above and in the tutorial in the description box down below. I'm talking way too fast. I'm so sorry. So at this point, we have our logos already in here. So in this case, for this design scenario, I'm going to use my white one versus the black one here. Alrighty. So we're just going to size this accordingly, make sure it's even like so. And at this point, you just want to go in, drop in a property photo. So it would look something like this, ta-da, or something like this. All right. And there you go. You have your personal logo and you have EXP's logo. In my opinion, I would keep your logo, your personal logo, just to your initials. I mean, obviously you can go in here and make this even, you can spruce this up with even more elements inside the Canva library if you want to. But honestly, I think the simpler your logo is, the more recognizable it is going to be. And it just makes things easier on you. You don't have to get too fancy with it. That's literally all that you need. I have made this personal brand brief for real estate agents so incredibly easy. You really have no excuses. So to follow along in this tutorial, all you need to do is head down to the description box below and click the first link to create a copy of my Notion template that contains the ChatGPT brand brief prompt and additional Canva template. And by the end of this video, you will have a clear idea as to what your brand identity is and how you need to show up and present yourself to the public. So if you're ready, let's go. The first link in the description box is going to take you to this Flowdesk form. All you have to do is enter your name and email address and let it populate, and it should send you an email to either your inbox or your spam, so just make sure you check. And once you open that email, you will receive access to a PDF that looks like this. And you do want to make sure that you already have a Notion account made. You can use this template on the free account for Notion, so no problem. Go ahead and open this up here. You want to click on the download button. I'm just going to open this up in Chrome here. And this is what it should take you to. This is just a view only link of my template here, but what you will notice at the upper right corner is this 2 square button. This is the duplication button, so go ahead and click on that. Then you want to make sure you are again logged into Notion. Choose your workspace. Sometimes you gotta like refresh this. Let me try this one more time. It's giving me a hard time right now. Let's do that. I've chosen my workspace, and then yes, you should see this button, add to private, which wasn't populating before. I don't know why, so make sure you might want to troubleshoot there. But you choose your workspace and then add it to private, and you'll see down here that it says template is being added. It will let you know when it's ready. It should be pretty quick because it's not really a big dashboard here, and this is what it should look like. All right, so this is, again, it's going to make a copy into your workspace here, and you should see it inside the private toggle here. Any which way, now that you have this is yours to keep. And what we're going to do is start with the chat prompt here. So go ahead, you can open up this toggle. It's going to give you some instructions, but we're going to go through all that in this tutorial. But what I want you to do is actually go into this area here, which is the templates toggle, and just go into the personal brand brief questionnaire. Now I'm just going to open this up into a full window here so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Now the personal brand brief questionnaire is the prompt that I created. Now you see here the first one is the original prompt. I put in brackets do not edit because I just wanted to let you have kind of a master copy of the prompt so you can look at it, make changes if you want to. But I always like to have the original prompt in one toggle. And then the second toggle here is the prompt that you need to fill out. So it's the exact same thing, but I have just basically changed the answer area to a different color, like this blue. So you can go ahead and answer these questions and insert your name and your marketplace as well. And once you do that, this is what we are going to be copying and pasting in to ChatGPT. And then finally, the third toggle here is where I would just put the output here, just so I have a log of everything I'm doing in ChatGPT. But with that said, I'm going to show you this screen here, which is me actually filling out the prompt questionnaire itself. So you can see here I put my name, I put a location, and then you can see here that I gave it some additional instructions in regards to the visual identity for one of the pillars, which is pillar number 4, visual identity. And you can see here that in the blue, I have just authentically answered the questions in bullet point answers, right? So if you wanted to add another, you just hit enter on your keyboard and just start typing away. So you can be as detailed as you want or as brief as you want. It's totally up to you. Obviously, the more detailed you are going to be, the better that ChatGPT will give you an output that you most likely will like. So you can see here the first kind of pillar is your core values. The second one is your unique strengths. The third is your niche. So who do you love working with the most? Fourth is going to be a fun one, which is your visual identity. So helping you kind of figure out your style. And here I just really kept it brief, earthy and professional. I like the color teal blue, so I put that in there. The fifth is the brand voice. So how should your brand sound? So how do you actually, what is your tonality essentially when you are speaking and when you are writing? And finally, I have the sixth here, which is your slogan. So your personal brand statement. And here I have help target audience achieve goal result by unique value or approach. So I really try to keep this as streamlined as possible. Obviously, you can make your prompt as detailed as you want it to, but again, what we're doing is we are coming in here and just copying everything here. So starting from act as my personal branding designer and coach, all the way down to the last word over here. And you just want to go ahead and open up ChatGPT. Now I am using the paid version of ChatGPT. Honestly, if you're in real estate, you better be using the paid version. It's literally $20 a month, okay? You cannot go wrong. Now in here, you just want to go ahead and obviously paste in the answers from the questionnaire. But in this case, I'm going to open up the ghost mode. This is called temporary chat right here. Temporary chat. It's kind of like incognito mode on Chrome. So I'm just going to go ahead and open that up because I don't want it to affect my other project files. So we have this all in here, everything from the bottom. Yes, all you have to do is just hit enter and see what it is going to output you. And honestly, ChatGPT does a pretty dang good job. All right, so you can see here that it is building it out. Client-centric precision, effortless decision-making, smart strategic selling, consistency and trust. And essentially what we're doing is, the reason why we answer these questions is because we want to take each pillar area, and then we're going to basically paste these answers into that Notion template that I gave you access to. And so we'll talk more about that once we go through this. Now you see here we have visual identity. It's giving us the color palette with the hex codes. Don't worry about the visual swatch. It's not going to give you the accurate color of what these hex codes actually will entail. So we're going to take this into Canva and I'll show you how to utilize the other Canva template I give you access to. And down here for your brand voice, approachable, knowledgeable, dependable, slogan, your brand statement. It's given us 2 actually. I help relocating buyers and luxury sellers make smart, seamless real estate moves by combining deep local knowledge with strategic tech-savvy marketing. Or helping buyers, Calgary buyers and sellers make smart moves with strategy, ease, and heart. And then here we have a brand summary and the About Me section. Now, if there's anything that you don't like about this, you can go back and forth with ChatGPT and make those iterations, which I encourage you to do. But for the sake of this tutorial, all I'm gonna do is basically hit this button here, copy. We're gonna go back into, let's see here. We're gonna go back into the brand brief questionnaire. So as you saw, this was basically what we copy and pasted into ChatGPT. Now I'm just going to paste what ChatGPT has outputted. So I'm just going to put it in here, Command V, so that I have access to this. And so I have really a log of this. Now at this point, what I would do is I would have your Canva template here. We're going to go back to the first page here. I would have your, sorry, not Canva template, your Notion template. And as you see here, we have these different toggles. And essentially what I would do is paste in the answers, the outputs into these sections. So let me rearrange my windows and I'll be right back. Alrighty friends, so here we have ChatGPT on the right and our Notion template on the left. And as you see here, here are the pillars that I have for you inside different toggles. Now, the core values is actually the second toggle here, but we'll come back to overview and the brand essence in just a second. But as I mentioned, this is basically what I would do. You can actually ask ChatGPT to write this out in third person if you wanted to. So that way later on, if you wanted to share your brand brief with a designer, or let's say later on ChatGPT, it has your full essence and hence brand brief. But for the sake of this, I'm just going to go in and copy this and we're going to paste it here. Close this toggle. Second, we have unique strengths. We're going to just, or you don't even have to copy like this here. You could just copy the bullet points if you want to. We're just, but I'm just going to copy everything and go in here and paste it. We're going to go into niche here. Same thing. And then for visual brand identity, we shall come back to this, but I might just copy over, it's giving us examples of font pairings we can use. We'll come back to visual identity because I have something better for you rather than just copying the text from ChatGPT. We're gonna go into tone and brand voice here. We're gonna copy this and paste it here. Slogan. Again, you can go through several iterations with this, which I encourage you to do, so you really find something that suits your vibe. Now we have the brand summary here and about me. We're just gonna paste this up here. Now at this point, you can also ask Chat to help you write out an Instagram bio, a YouTube bio, all the things, but I would recommend you holding on to that just for a second, because I would just go in here and take everything that we made in here and plop it back into ChatGPT. I know that doesn't make any sense right now, but give me a second. We'll talk about that at towards the end of the video. So we have everything in our toggles, which is nice and convenient so that it's not overwhelmingly all in one running list. I like my content in toggles. It just helps me to just hone in on what I want to look at, right? So I hope you like that. So now we're going to move into the visual identity, which is essentially going to be our Canva brand sheet template, all right? So I've also given you access to a brand sheet, which is something that I use myself. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and it's going to take you into a page like this. You want to go ahead and hit view template. I don't know why they put view template. It doesn't make sense, but view template. Make sure you're logged into Canva and open in editor, and this will give you access or create a copy of my template into Canva, in your Canva, so you have access to that. And it should look like this. Alrighty. Now, remember how we have in ChatGPT, if we scroll up to the fourth pillar here, which is going to be your visual identity, it has given us a color palette. So what I would do in this case, as you see here, we have our hex code. So we have teal blue, a soft sand, a warm clay, which is your accent, deep charcoal, and a natural white. Now, as you see here, I have these 5 little bubbles. So essentially what I encourage you to do is this. So let's say we're going to copy this hex code here. You want to make sure you actually get that hashtag because that's what you will need. So in this case, I'm going to click on the circle icon here. Make sure it's selected the circle. I've grouped this together. You can ungroup it if you want to, so you can have the different text boxes. I'm going to click on the circle. We're going to go up to this color here, the color, and we're going to hit this add new color. Then we're just going to paste in that hex code. And there you go. That's your teal blue. So I would copy this, put that in the name, and you can do primary, but you know, we can do it in that order. Now obviously I would also put in that hex code as well. Okay. And just for the sake of this, we're just going to go in and see what this, we're going to do the rest of the colors because I want to see what the palette looks like. Alrighty, so that's your, what was that? Soft sand. Okay. The accent. And if you don't like this, obviously tell ChatGPT you don't like it or give you a different color. Yeah, I don't really like that, but okay. See, it's kind of accurate, but not really. We're gonna do here, and then paste that. Ooh, what did I just do? Hold on. Okay, there we go. That's your deep, and then this is your just kind of your off-white, I would say. Now in this case, I would ask Chat for, you know, 2 different variations of this color so we can have like, you know, more colors in this. But you know what, kind of looking at it now, it's not horrible, but it's definitely something that you could work with. Maybe I would ask for like a different accent color that is more matchy between the teal blue and the soft sand, because we're almost there, but not really. And so one cool thing here is if we can go back and zoom in a little bit, I'm going to group this together. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure everything's grouped, but you'll see this kind of icon, and then you can move things, you can move things around like that. So you can kind of switch around the colors like that per se. So I would keep my main primary color in the center, and then the other 2 colors to make sure that they kind of mesh and match. So that's how I would do that. Then obviously you want to go in here and you can play around with the different font pairings that they are suggesting, and hopefully it did give you fonts that are already inside Canva. So, and this is the section here that I have allocated for that, so I'm not really going to bore you with that because it's pretty self-explanatory. And then down here I have a mood board inspiration. So this is where I would find pictures that kind of tie into this color palette up here. Now this gray area is for logo variations. So I have a previous tutorial on how I show you how to use ChatGPT to generate a logo. So this is what we ended up with in the other tutorial there. So it made me this logo, and then I added EXP. And so that's kind of what your brand sheet should look like. But you know what? I want to test something. I want to take this teal blue color. I want to take this hex code, and if you go into photos and you hit this slider, you should be able to add that hex code color and see if there's any pictures that align with that color. So let's say you kind of like something earthy, water. Let's see here. Okay, another landscape. I just want to give you a full idea as to how this could work. And then let's say for the sake of this, you can add a picture of yourself. Let's just do this one in the center there. And so this is kind of your in essence, your visual brand identity. You can take out this gray color if you wanted to. What I would do is probably do like a gradient of your colors here. So I would go in and set up the gray. I probably would go with that. This one says a cyan color. To ChatGPT, it's a teal blue. So you can do that, like so. Or again, you can click on those sliders there. And we can do a gradient. And we can pull in, let's say, this soft sand color. Obviously, you want to make sure you name the colors accordingly. But in essence, that's literally your brand sheet. Now, what I would do is I'm going to just open this up in full window here so you can see what we're working with. Honestly, not bad. Like, it's pretty good, huh? Yeah. So we're going to download this as a PNG because what I'm going to do is put this inside our brand brief on the Notion template. All right, so you want to go ahead and open up your visual brand identity. You can give it something in here, but all I would really do is go ahead and take that brand sheet we just downloaded from Canva, drag and drop it right into that block there, and boom, you have your brand sheet or your visual identity. Okay, your brand style sheet per se. If you can't drag and drop, you can just go ahead and you see how there's that floating plus button. You can go in here and look for, I think it's image, and then it will allow you to upload an image from your desktop or anywhere else. So there is that. I'm just going to delete this, but are you seeing why I am liking the toggles? Because we have this, but we can just close it away, and that is pretty much done and done. Now, a couple things you can do with this. We can either download this entire document as a PDF, so that way you can upload it to ChatGPT, and so it has reference of your brand, which I would do. But in this case, all you want to do is go up to the three dots here, and you should see, where are you? Export right here. Export, and we are going to export this as a PDF. Current view, yes. Include everything, yes. And we are just going to export this. So we're going to let that do its thing, and then I'll show you that in a second. Second way that we can share this, so let's say you have an assistant or you have a brand designer, you can share this actual Notion page as a web page essentially. So you can go up to the share button here, and you just want to go to publish here. We're going to hit publish, and then what we're going to do is, I like to turn this off, toggle it off, and then just hit view site, and this is what the page should look like. And so you can see here, whoever you give the person the URL, I know you can't see it, but it's up here. You give them that URL, and they can go in here and basically read up on your entire brand brief. They can take a look at your visual identity. Everything is here. All of your assets are here. And so it just makes it really easy and simple to know exactly who you are and what you are about. Now, let's go back to the PDF that we had just downloaded from Notion. It kind of looks like this. It just looks like that because there's just so much on this one. You could potentially just delete the second page if you wanted to, or delete that first block entirely if you want to. But any which way, you can see here that it has created a PDF document with all the toggles open. And the nice thing about this is, what I would do is basically give this PDF to ChatGPT. Alrighty, so here we are with ChatGPT once more. And again, as I mentioned, all it would do is just drag and drop my brand brief into here. You can also hit that plus button, and then from here you can prompt ChatGPT to do whatever you want it to do. You can tell them, this is my entire personal brand brief, help me create content for YouTube, for Instagram, help me design my landing page, my website, whatever it is you want to do. You have a personal brand brief, and now you are giving ChatGPT basically the bullets, right? And so it makes content creation really, really simple and easy. Disclaimer, you will need Canva Pro in order to create your unique Canva brand kit. But don't worry, you can scan this code on screen here or find the link in the description box down below to try Canva Pro for 30 days free to see how you like it, because I know you are going to love it. Now, to begin, we're going to head into my computer here, and here I have my brand sheet, essentially my brand style sheet. And if you don't have this created yet, what I recommend in this case is before you watch this video, actually go back to these videos over here. This is your personal brand in 25 minutes with AI and how to create a logo with AI. So I recommend to go to the homepage of my channel, look for the personal branding for real estate agent playlist. As always, I will be sure to link these videos down in the description box down below. So this is kind of the base before we get into actually programming our brand kit on Canva. So I'm going to go into the home page of Canva here, and what you want to do is locate on the left hand panel the brand icon here and make sure you are in brand kits. Now again, because I have Canva Pro, you are actually able to make multiple Canva brand kits, and this is basically a progression of all of how my brand has evolved over these past several years. My most recent one is this one here, but I'm going to show you how to make yours from scratch. Now, quite simply, all you want to do is go ahead and hit add new. You want to go ahead and name this. I'm just going to name this test brand and go ahead and create. Now, the reason why you want to have your brand style sheet like this already prepared is because it's going to make your life a million times easier, because all we are doing is plugging and playing these basic brand assets into our brand kit so that when we go into design within the Canva design window, we're easily able to retrieve these specific colors, these logos, these fonts, and any other inspirational pictures that we may have involved with our brand. Most likely your profile headshots, right? So in this case, what I'm going to do is you can either drag and drop your logos into here, which I am going to do, and I'm going to do this really quickly here. And again, these logos I show you how to make in a previous tutorial. Yes, I made this with ChatGPT and then just put the Expuse logo on the side with Canva. Very, very simple and easy. Now we're going to go in and create our brand colors, so our color palette. Now I tend to keep my colors pretty simple, so I would go no more than 5 or 6 colors. You really just want a main color, your primary color, and then other complementary colors, and usually like a dark black and a white color just for contrast. But usually with your dark color, it's always going to be most likely your font color per se. So a really easy thing we can do here is go ahead and just click on add new. And what I like to do, which is very convenient, is just using the color picker tool. And because I have this here, I'm going to click on this, and then I'm just going to go ahead and use my click on here to locate this teal blue color. And you can see here that it has properly figured out the hex code, which is 2C8694, and it is also right over here. And you can also, again, you can name this accordingly. So I'm going to name this as my primary and go ahead and click off of that. And it's pretty straightforward. All you have to do is, again, just go in and do that. I'm going to skip the names for now, just to save you some time. And ideally, what I would have recommend is actually doing this kind of in a dark to light, but I'm just randomly doing this accordingly. One thing that I would also recommend if you're into this is also putting in a gradient of your color. So this here is a gradient pattern, which I've made out of 2 colors, which is going to be just my teal blue here and then just this kind of sand color. So if, again, you can go into here, click add new color. And in this case, again, I'm going to pick my teal blue color, and then you can see here I have solid color, and I'm just going to click over to gradient, and then I'm going to pick this other color here, and then I'm just going to go in and grab that sand color. Now you can choose the gradient pattern from left to right, top to bottom, from a diagonal, so you very much can choose whatever kind of gradient style you are looking for, and obviously you can create multiple gradients. So if you had a primary color of teal, but if you had different variations of that teal color, you can make a gradient of that main primary color, if that makes sense. So I'm going to keep it at that for now. And then here, if we keep scrolling down below, you'll see that we have fonts. Now Canva gives you like 1, 2, 3, like 9 different font presets per se, but honestly, you only really need 3. You just need your title font, your basic body font, and if you want a fancy font for like, in this case, I just have an italics, or if you want a fancy font for like your signature, like your actual like email signature per se, you can definitely add that in there. But in this case, I'm just going to keep it very simple. I'm going to go into my title here. Now you will have to manually look for your fonts here, which is why in my previous tutorial where I show you how to use ChatGPT to create your brand kit, I specifically told it to look for font pairings that are already contained inside the Canva library. But you are also able to add in fonts, like you can upload your old fonts if you would like to, but I just keep things really simple and I just use what Canva gives me. So I'm gonna go in and look for Montserrat. Where are you? Make sure you spell it right. There we go. Montserrat, and in this case it's going to be a title, and you know what, I actually want this to be bold, so I'm going to make sure that you go ahead and click on that toggle there to find the other weights of the font as well. So in this case I just picked bold, and then you can choose your size. So you know, I'm just going to go with what, 56, and you can always change this. You can always come back into your brand kit and you can fix the font size again. So we're just going to go with that there. And then I'm going to go again with, in this case for my subheader font, I'm going to go into, let's see here, heading, subheading. We're going to go subheading. Same thing. I'm going to go into Montserrat. In this case, I chose light, and then I'm going to italicize it. And we're just going to keep it, actually I'm going to make it quite big. So I'm going to make it like 42. Yeah. And then finally for the body, I'm just going to go in with the open sans there. Just like that, and we'll just go ahead and do that. Again, Canva gives you so many placements for fonts, just keep it very basic is my recommendation. You can also add in your brand voice, which you can also generate from your, when I showed you in the other video there, but I'm just gonna leave that for now, or maybe should I find it? Hold on, I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. So this is my brand brief that I have on Notion here. And in this toggle for tone and brand voice, this is what I have. So I'm wondering if I can just copy and paste this straight into here, or maybe Canva wants you to have it as, you know, a sentence, like a paragraph per se. So you can see here that we have, I think, upwards of 500 characters. I'm just going to go with this and see what that does. You typically only really deal with brand voice if you are using Canva's, it's kind of like Canva's ChatGPT per se, if it's helping you create copy and text in your brand voice. So we're just going to leave it at that. Again, you can always come in here and change things about. Now, in this case, this is where you can add in your photos and your graphics and your icons. This is a little bit different. So I'm just going to show you kind of an idea for my brand kit currently. So just to give you a full view of what it looks like when you properly scope out your entire brand kit on Canva. So you see here, I have all of my logos. I have various colors. Again, here's 3 of my fonts per se. My brand voice, which I do have in a paragraph, which, you know, test that about. And then here I have some photos, so different headshots that I have in here that I use on the regular. So I put that in to my brand kit. And then I have different brand assets, so different graphics that I may use when I am designing on Canva. And then other various icons. So I have all of my QR codes, different logos for different brands that I represent as well. And then here there's a new area for charts. So if you are making charts on Canva, you can also stylize your charts based on your brand kit. But again, you can keep this as simple or as complex as you want it to be. But typically speaking, this is what this will look like. And just for, let's see, the sake of this, can I find an image of myself? All right, so just a little warning here. When you are dragging and dropping in your photos, you want to make sure that it is a PNG. But the reason why this is not PNG is because I took these photos with my iPhone and it translates it into this HEIC. I don't know the science behind it, but you do want to make sure that it is a PNG. So what I would do is upload these photos maybe into a different Canva design and then download it as a PNG, but to save you the headache of this, I'm just going to drag and drop this photo in here so that we have it. And that was a PNG. So make sure you are wary about that. Now we are ready to go ahead and start creating some designs. So we're going to go into the homepage of Canva, and I'm just going to go into, again, homepage, toggle on templates here. And this is where you can go ham. So I'm just going to go real estate, Instagram, and see what Canva gives me. And at this point, you just want to go in and stylize any of these designs to your choosing. So I think this one looks quite nice, or this one, or this one. So we're just going to customize this template, and I'm going to show you how you would go about using your Canva Brand Kit. Let's go ahead and open up this screen into full view here. And so this, right now, we are inside the Canva design window. And if you locate over here, Brand Kit, you can see that I'm in my other brand. But if you toggle this open, you can select the brand kit that we just made. Over here, select Brand Kit. And if we click on here, we can shuffle the colors around to have Canva actually apply these brand colors. So it's giving me pretty basic ones, not necessarily what I am loving, but there's that. Obviously, if you click on the background, you can open up the background color here, and it will show you your actual brand palette. So you can go in and actually use, let's say this, in this case, the actual gradient. And here you can also, again, play around with your gradients as well. You can choose the different ways that the gradient pattern may look. So that's something you can definitely play around with. Probably do something like that. You might even make this look like this, and change this to that white there. Maybe change this to something like that. And obviously this is an image. This is the image frame. So you can go in here, actually put your listing photo. We'll just randomly plop this in here. And again, with the listing or the fonts here, if you click on them, you can go into here and you should see your brand fonts if you scroll down here. And here we have the Montserrat as well. And again, because it has that toggle, we can also play about the different weights. But in this case, I probably want to make this a little bit bigger, like that. And for this, we want to obviously go in and use our other fonts as well. And I think this down here is also a different font. So let's go in and make this like that as well. We might bold it. And this is pretty much what you're working with. Now let's go in here and add in our logos and photos. So I'm going to add in this one here, EXP. And you see how this is a frame? What I would do is make sure you lock this photo down, so that, lock it twice, so that because we're adding in basically an image over here, it won't go into the frame. So I'm trying to figure out where this would look the best. Or, you know what, we might have to use the black one. I don't know, because I want to put my photo in here. So let's come back to the logo. We're just going to use our photo here. I'm going to use the background remover tool. Now, my arm is a little bit cut off here, so I am just going to flip myself. Should we flip? Not the greatest photo to use on one of these pictures, but there we go. And if you want to, you can also add a shadow, which I typically like to do, just to kind of give some more depth, so it's not as flat looking. And you know what, we might just make this font a little bit smaller because we want to line it up with here. And you know what, maybe we might actually use this here. All right, you kind of get the idea, but placement of logo is not really my favorite, but in essence, this is what you're working with. Now at this point, all you do is just download this as a PNG or a JPEG, and you upload it to whichever media platform of your choosing. But as you can see, once you have your brand kit programmed, it's very easy to come in here and make any template your own. Learning how to program my own brand templates into Canva completely changed the design game for me. And I honestly think that this Canva hack doesn't get enough appreciation, which is why I am sharing it with you. Now, to begin this tutorial, you want to do one of three things. First, you may want to design your own template. Or number two, you may want to find an already pre-made design within the Canva template library. Or alternatively, number three, shameless plug, you can shop my Instagram bundle templates on Etsy. And for this tutorial here, we are going to be using the red set here. So this is 66 Instagram feed posts, and I have just updated them to reflect the new portrait aspect ratio on Instagram. Now, to begin, first things first, choose one of those three ways to have a design made. And then secondly, we want to go into the homepage of Canva. You want to locate into projects here and then locate further into folders, which we are currently in. Now, what I like to do in this case is to create a designated folder for my brand kit. So I would name this, my brand templates. I would name this brand templates. So then that way you can create a master copy and have them housed within this one folder so you don't accidentally mess them up. But in this case, I already have my brand demo template folders here. As you can see, I have a few of them already made, and you want to do that. You want to make your template, and obviously it's going to be empty, but in this case, what you want to do after you make your designated folder in the folder section within the projects folder here, you want to go ahead and toggle this on. You want to star this folder, and when you do, it will highlight into this yellow star. And to locate this, where you are going to find it is actually going to be again in the home page of Canva. You want to toggle open this kind of hamburger menu, and once you head into Canva, the home page here, you'll notice on the left hand panel a bunch of things that can be starred. So I have a bunch of folders and designs that I have starred because I actively go into these templates regularly, so I don't have to scramble and find them in my recent designs. So I've starred my demo brand template folder here, so that way I can easily locate them. Now, as mentioned, we are going to be creating essentially a brand template out of these templates. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up here. Let me right click. Hold on. Let me right click and open this up into Google Chrome here. And this is what this is going to look like. I'm going to hit, let's see here, view template. Before it said create a copy, I don't know why they say view template. I think this is confusing, but it's view template. Then you want to go ahead and open it in editor. And this is going to create a copy of my template into your Canva workspace. Now I would go ahead and immediately label this master copy. Master. And what you'll notice here, as I mentioned, it is basically 66 feed post. But essentially what I'm going to be doing in this case is I'm going to be taking probably most likely page number 4 to all the way to page 15, because those are essentially going to be the designs that I'm going to be regularly using on a hopefully day-to-day basis, mostly dependent on the statuses of your listing. So as you can see here, we have coming soon, just listed, open house, price adjusted, under contract, sold, and market reports and client reviews. And we are going to go in here, and what I'm actually going to do is, for the sake of this tutorial, I am just going to delete these other pages so we don't get confused. Here we go, we have these designs here, and what I'm going to do is just, instead of having these red circles, I'm actually going to put my logos here and all of these places, all right? So in this case, I'm just going to speed up this portion of the video because it's pretty self-explanatory. Alrighty, so I have, at this point, all I've done is just put my logos where I need them to be, where I want them to be. I have put in my logos in different variations, put in my profile picture, which I've removed the background, and then I just added in an additional shadow just to give me some more dimension. Obviously, I would go in here and put your name and all your contact information, just to make things easy. And let's see here, we have just listed, this is the open house, price reduced, under contract, sold, and then buyers represented when you sell a home, market report, and then the second page of that market report, and then client reviews. Now with the client reviews one, you can, if you want to, put in your photo, but ideally you would want to actually put in a photo of your clients in this case. Let's just do that. But, you know, in any case, I'm going to leave that blank for now. But once you have your set of designs, how you want them to be, at this point, we are going to be creating this into a brand template. And to do that, you want to go up to the share button up here. And then you want to locate see all, and you should see brand template. If you click that open, it's going to prompt you to, in this case, I'm going to move it into a specific folder. So let me find brand template, and I like to do this just to keep myself organized. I'm going to add it to that specific folder, and then again you can share this with the team if you have people on your Canva as well, but in this case it's just me. So I'm just going to publish and close this, and I'm going to show you how to go about using your brand template. Alrighty, so again, if we go to the home page of Canva, there are several places where you are going to find your brand template. Again, we have started the folder up here in your start folders, and you should see it now inside. If we refresh, it should be right here, master. It hasn't populated the picture yet, but there it is. If we click on it, you can go ahead and just use this brand template. It's going to make a copy of this copy. Alrighty. Secondly, you will also find your brand template in here inside this brand hub here, and then you'll see brand kits, brand templates, and this is going to show you all of the brand templates that you have regardless. So as you can see here, I have a bunch more than I do versus in that designated folder where there were only previously 5 different designs. And again, you can go on here and you can click on it, and the same thing, use this brand template, and it will create a copy of this copy. And if we go into Canva once more, and let's say we want to create a design, so we know specifically we want to create a social media post, it's going to be the Instagram post here, 4:5, that portrait ratio. You can access your brand template inside the brand hub over here. Click on this, and if you scroll all the way down, you'll see the brand templates area. Again, this is going to feature all of the brand templates that you've created within your Canva account. So unfortunately, we can't segregate certain brand templates for certain brand kits if you have multiple brand kits. So Canva, if you're listening, I want that. But any which way, what you can do to use this, you just go ahead and click this open, and once you're ready to create your listing campaign, you know you're going to have, let's say in this case, to make things easy, I'm just going to go ahead and hit apply all pages, and it's going to automatically create all those pages within this new design here. In this case, I would name it, you know, the actual property addressed. So, you know, you always want to keep your stuff organized. Address, make sure you spell it right. There we go. And at this point, you have basically a set of templates that all you have to do is plug in the listing photos, plug in the address, and you are pretty much set to go. So you're not creating this every single time or trying to locate that master copy and pasting in this design into your canvas. So again, very simple. Let's just randomly drag in a photo here. So we have coming soon. Again, you could use this one instead. Or if you have, you know, inside pictures, you can plop those in, and you, as you can see here, you can literally make an entire campaign within 10 minutes. You can manifest this property being sold by, you know, actually putting the home here and this in the background, just to kind of give it, in this case, there we go. All right, something like that. Actually, I would blur the back image a little bit just so it can create some contrast, whole image like that, and There we go. So it kind of creates that cool hollowed out text effect, and that's what that would look like. Again, you just go in here and you would just download this as a PNG. Alternatively, one other thing that you could do if you know you are having a new listing, what I would do is go back into the homepage of Canva, and if you know you're getting a new listing, again, I like to be really organized. I treat my Canva like a Google Drive. The way I organize my Google Drive, same thing. I would create a designated folder. So folder, I would name it that property. And if you create this folder, what you can do, go into that folder and you can actually add the brand template directly into this folder. So you can go here into add new. Let's see here, add new. And then we can hit brand template. And then you should see here your brand templates. You can hit, where is the see all button? Okay. There should be a see all button like this, because I know I have more templates, but in this case it's showing me the first one, which is the one I want anyways. I'm just going to hit that, and then it is going to hopefully create a copy of this. Now you do want to just be really wary to name this accordingly immediately, so I'm just going to put 2 in here for now. And I want to refresh this folder to make sure we do indeed have a copy of that, which we do. I wish it created like it said copy of master, but there is that. To ensure that we didn't mess up our brand templates, I'm going to go into my brand hub, go into my templates here, and you can see here that it still remains as master. Again, you can also create a template directly from here by clicking on this and then just hit use this brand template. Again, in this case, it does create copy of a master, which is ideally what you want. We're going to name this to copy. And then from here, if you are just designing and then you're like, oh, I forgot to put this in that specific folder, you can go back into the file up over here. You can move this to a specific folder. And let's say I'm going to put it into property 1 folder and just move it here accordingly. And then if we go into that specific folder once more, let's go back into projects, let's refresh this page, go and find in the folders area property 1 folder. Where are you? It is probably down here. Let's populate. My internet's a little bit slow. It's down here. We're going to open that up and you can see that we should have 2 designs. Yes, 2 master and then 2 copy of master, which are 2 copies that we made of the master copy. So I hope you catch my drift, and I hope you give this trick, this Canva hack, a try, and make sure you share it with your real estate friends. Let's get right into it. The first hack I have for you is going to be folders on Canva. Now, basically, I treat my Canva workspace as if I was, keeping my Google Drive clean and organized. And to do that, I basically create pillar folders for certain aspects of my business. Now, in this case, you see I have several, but in this case, I have something like Instagram, branding, YouTube, and to create a folder, all you have to do is go up to here, add new, and then add a folder and name it accordingly. And once you do, you can then, which is bringing us to point number 2, we can create subfolders within a folder. So in this case, let's call this real estate. And within here, we are going to add, let's say, another folder, and we are going to name it 2025, and within that folder we are going to add one for sellers, so we have a listing folder, and one for buyers. Alrighty, so that was point number 2. Now let's head back into the main real estate folder here. And now point number 3 is actually going to star this folder. And what that means is if we go back to the homepage of Canva, you'll notice here in this panel, you're starred. So you can star a folder, so that way you can easily access the contents of a specific folder right at the click of a mouse. Mouse click? Yeah. Now that we have folders made and set in place, we can easily take any of these designs within our recent designs here, and we can move them into a specific folder. So here I have a real estate, Instagram template. And what I'm going to do is actually hit those three dots here, and I'm going to move this into a specific folder. I'm going to put it in the sellers one here that we just created within the subfolder for real estate. Move that there, and then if we toggle over into that specific real estate folder, 2025, and in the sellers we should see this design here, which is in this case going to be that master copy of this particular template. If you are like me and you are in Canva almost every single day, you probably have a bunch of images piled up that you need to clean out and take care of. So again, go over to the project tab here and locate your images. And here's basically everything that you should have in images. And a way to basically bulk delete this is you can just simply click and drag with your mouse and scroll. And then you can just either move this into a specific folder or delete this and move this to trash directly, but I'm not going to do that. But that's essentially how you would bulk delete your images. Now let's get into some more advanced hacks that I have for you. So right now I have this Instagram post loaded up in the Canva editing window. And remember how we created those folders? You can access them directly from the editing window. So over here, you should see projects here. Let me fix my mouse right here, projects, and you can basically access the contents of a folder, whether that be another Canva design or a folder of images. So in this case, I'm just going to search for my agent headshot folder here. So I'm just going to click here, and I have this designated folder of images of agents who are partnered with me at EXP, which could be you. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I have this template for a welcome post. I'm going to essentially pull in Renee here, and I'm going to remove the background right here. And then I'm going to add a shadow, as I always do with my images, if you know, you know. And essentially, I'm just going to situate her accordingly, and then I'm just going to push her back. So there we go, we have her design. So that was me grabbing an image from a specific folder. Now, similarly, as I mentioned, you can also access other designs. So in this case, let's say we're back in our folders here. Let's go to all designs, and let's randomly look for an Instagram design. Actually, let's go to all, and let's see down here for the sake of this. Let's say I was in creating this design previously in another Canva project, and I'm like, I kind of like this one, so I'm just going to add a new page here. And what I can do is simply just plop this in, and I have the exact elements from that previous design, so I don't have to make it from scratch. And then all you have to do in this case, because it's a just listed status, we're going to go into our uploads, and again, you can also create a folder of designated folders, but in this case, just for the sake of this, I'm just gonna pull in this image, and there we go, we have another post. Now, this is something that Canva has recently added, and that is creating subfolders within the upload section. So if you notice over here, we go into uploads, we see images, videos, audio, and folders. This is new. Folders is new. So what I'm understanding is that it's slightly different from the folders that you're making in your projects tab, but in any which way, you can create subfolders for specific uploads. So if we go over to folders, create new folder, this is where you could create a specific folder for, let's say, your own headshots. Hit continue, and I believe if you click on this, this is where you can either add a design or upload files or upload into this folder here. But I'm assuming that because we have this folder here, if I go into images and let's say I'm going to hit, the three dots here, can I move that into that? Yes, into that specific uploads folder. So I'm going to move that there. So basically it moves out of my images area into my folders, which is located in this subfolder for headshots. Does that make sense? Yes, lots of ways to make folders on Canva. If you are a Canva Pro user and you are not using Canva Brand Kits, what are you doing? You need to be using Canva Brand Kits because they are going to make your life so much easier. So as you can see, I have several brand kits made, because really it's just an evolution of my brand over the years on Canva. But essentially, let's go into, let's say, this one here. I've programmed this specific brand kit with my logos, my specific color palette, fonts, and even my brand voice and certain images. And what this is going to do is make your life, again, so much easier. So I have a dedicated tutorial on how to create your brand style, your brand accents, creating your logo, and programming your brand kit, which I will link all in the description box down below. But again, this just makes it super easy when you are designing. Let's go back into this page here. When you are designing, you go into brand kit here. You can toggle between all of your different brand kits and then design accordingly for that specific post. And this just makes sure that all of your content is on brand, so you can really create a cohesive brand across all media platforms. Now, similar to your brand kits, we also have brand templates on Canva. So again, if you locate to the homepage of Canva and open up the brand hub here, you'll see brand kits and brand templates. So these are templates that you are creating for brand templates, right? So this is your design, and then there's a toggle that you can turn on to make this a brand template. So essentially speaking, this is going to make your design process a lot more efficient. It's going to make your workflow even faster because you are not creating designs from scratch every time. So in this case, let's say I have a new listing. I have this set up that I know are Instagram post for a listing campaign. So if I click this open, all I have to do is go ahead and click this button, use brand template, and then it's going to create a copy of my master copy so that I can just go in here and just plug and play accordingly. Let's just drop in a random photo here that I have coming soon. I can drop in this photo here, not the same property, but you get the idea. So that way I'm not building this out from scratch every time, and this is going to solidify my personal brand on social media, because over time people are going to be accustomed to this style, this look, this color of mine, especially my face here, right? So if you want to learn how to create your own brand templates, I do have a designated tutorial for that, which I will link in the description box down below, so be sure to check it out. If you didn't know, Canva released what is called the Visual Suite 2.0, and essentially what this means is that we can create within the same Canva design different aspect ratios. So in this case, right now I have an Instagram portrait template, which is a 4:5 kind of ratio, but let's say I want to create a just seamless post, and that is going to require a vastly different canvas size. So over here, I'm going to click on the plus button, or sorry, not the plus button, but this toggle down here. And what you'll notice is this whole array of tiles. But in this case, I'm going to hit the more button because I need a custom size here. And do I have it? Yes, it's going to be 5400 by 1350 pixels. If you don't see that there, it's because obviously I created a custom design. So you go ahead and put in that aspect ratio size. But in this case, for the sake of this, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Now I have a template already made in my brand hub, so if I go to see all, I should have this here, and this is in a different color, but we're just going to work with it. And in this case, I'm going to do a coming soon seamless post, and at this point what I do is I go in here, I populate all of the image blocks with a photo, and let's see here. And let's, probably not the best, but essentially I populate all of these photos, and then because this is a seamless post, in order to post it to Instagram, we actually have to cut up this design into different pages. Now I have a full tutorial on exactly how to create just seamless posts for Instagram, which I will link in the cards above. But the point of this is I'm showing you basically how to create an entire listing campaign all within one Canva design, so you are not scrambling to find different designs you previously made. Now I have a dedicated tutorial on the Canva Visual 2.0 suite, so it should look like this on YouTube. You want to look for Canva tricks every listing real estate agent needs to know, and I explain very thoroughly in this video how the Canva Visual Suite actually entails, because it's kind of mind-blowing. And if Canva wasn't mind-blowing enough, this is gonna knock your socks off. Alrighty, for the ones who've made it to the very end of this video, I have a supreme bonus Canva hack for you, or multiple Canva hacks for you. And this is Canva keyboard shortcuts. Now, this is a video I've done probably 3-4 years ago, but I share with you in this video 21 Canva keyboard shortcuts. Now, what you're looking at is a presentation that I will also link down in the description box down below, and it contains all of my keyboard shortcuts, my beloved keyboard shortcuts, and how to use them whether you are on Mac or on Microsoft. And essentially what I've done is I have taken all of these keyboard shortcuts and I have programmed them onto my Elgato Stream Deck. So I have the 32 key Stream Deck, I know, super extra, but I programmed these shortcuts onto specific buttons, as you can see here. And basically it just allows me to be either super efficient on Canva or really lazy on Canva, because when I'm in the zone and I'm designing, I don't want to go into here and grab what I need because I programmed my deck to do that. So to give you an idea, let's say I'm designing, I'm in the zone, and I need a circle randomly. So I'm going to hit the circle button on my Stream Deck. Let's say I didn't want to do that. Undo. Maybe I need a square. There we go. Or undo. In this case, maybe I need a new page, another page, and another page. And there you have it, my friend. You now have the full personal branding system locked down: logo, brand essence, brand kit, templates, workflow. With that said, thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you want to take your business to the next level, then be sure to check out this video right over here. And if you are ready, get ready to click in 3, 2, 1.